I won't scream.
I know.
Do you like spy thrillers? Do you like watching America win the Cold War? Do you like watching an American go up against the CIA and win? Do you want to watch a guy fight for his life and still find time to sleep with his hostage old school style, assassins, and a good time?
Have I roughed you up?
Yes! What are you doing in
Have
my
I?
house? Going
Have
through
I?
all my
Have
stuff.
I raped
forcing-
you?
The night is young.
Well, I have the movie for you. In a world where America had peaked, the gold standard was alive and well, and we still believed that showing people the truth was the way to solve America's problems. One man fights for what he believes in.
What the?
Storytelling as it was meant to be. Stories perfectly told. A movie that perfected the genre so well that when they revisited it 30 years later, even when they ripped it off because Hollywood doesn't have new ideas, the movie still slapped. In the age of peak Hollywood genre, a jazz pianist turned working stiff director created the greatest spy espionage thriller of the 1970s. If Dirty Harry walked so Lethal Weapon could run, then this movie walked so The Firm could run, so The Bourne Identity could fly. He created Americana so good that 50 years later, the movie got better, while America couldn't keep up. Robert Redford, the Silent Generation's Brad Pitt, teamed up to create a spy thriller so good that you swear it was propaganda. It's the pinnacle of movies. If you like movies with action, reveals, mystery, banter, without fluff, millennial snark, or diversity, this is the movie for you. It's the pinnacle of movies. It's the peak of espionage. It's gratuitous nudity for no reason other than it's awesome. It's good. In fact, it's better than good. It's 3 Days of the Condor, 1975.
I keep telling you I don't watch new movies anymore. And it's not because they are the films that they made when I was 13 and that's how it works, because these things were made before I was born. And it's not because I love boomer cinema or boomers at all. Like, we didn't know at the time. But the Cold War was an era of history that rivaled the Wild West in America, the Tokugawa era in Japan, the Napoleonic War of Europe, Punic era of Rome, or the Trojan War of ancient Greece. It is just a ripe venue for like the perfect type of story, and it aligned so well with the advent of moving picture reels, which were a century old by this point. Like, we had mastered the art of camera and the art of story, and at the same time we were mastering the largest wartime setting with global stakes ever. And this movie is where all of those historical and technical lines converge, and it's awesome. Like, very few movies are perfect. The Bourne Identity, The Firm, The Brave Little Toaster, and even fewer movies were given that $20 million budget in 1971 or whatever to realize their vision. So to put it in context, Nixon just crushed the American spirit. Trust in government, all-time low. And then Hollywood, typical communists, were there to kick it when it was down. But that's okay, because this movie slapped. So what is 3 Days of the Condor? It is a spy espionage thriller, a paranoia thriller, I've heard people call it. It's showing you how you can get by without CGI, without choreographed fight scenes, because the fight scenes in this one are very simple and very crude, and you don't need thousands of squibs flying off. And you can make a damn good story that keeps people watching till the end. It's perfect. It's a self-contained movie that leaves you not only wanting more, but it gives you something to talk about in the lobby afterwards, back when people used to leave their house to go watch movies. Is the New York Times working with the CIA? Is exposing the truth enough? Is this how people become mercenaries and assassins? You don't know, and they don't tell you. So again, what is 3 Days of the Condor? It's a production from Dino De Laurentiis, and this is the company that's made everything you know and love. Like, I know everybody loves Orion Films, everybody loves Canon, but Dino doesn't get nearly enough credit. He did Hannibal, he did Dune, Conan, Flash Gordon, Army of Darkness, Red Sonja, the Halloween series, Serpico. And they took one of the hardest working directors I've ever seen, like over 40 movies by this point. Movies take like a year to make, and this man made 40 of them in his lifetime. Think about that. Can you picture a millennial or a pinko effing communist with that sort of work ethic? I can't. The only thing that they're good at is avocado toast, Funko Pops, and ruining economies. And this is why these sort of movies aren't coming back anymore. They spent $20 million on this film. It made $27 million back in the box office. And if you don't know, films generally have to double their box office returns. That's about the equivalent of making a profit. Which isn't great for a movie like this, $27 million, but it's a bit of a loss, really. And this is where mid-budget films like this just shined. It was video sales. Yeah, they can't make films like this anymore, and this is why. Netflix would pay them a penny to watch. Blockbuster offered them a chance to make another $20 million off of the sales. If you made a good movie, eventually you made a profit. And this one was good. This one was so good. And it made a profit. You can't do this today unless you just put Chris Pratt teamed up with a black lesbian who can karate kick the CIA. All right, pause. Okay, you know it. I hate, and I mean I hate, YouTube movie reviews. Commie video essays talking about the means of production or why they hate their dad, nerds using AI slop to pray that you fall asleep during the video so that you don't pick something better to watch and they get the watch time. We are in another Cold War when it comes to entertainment, and we don't even know it yet. Luckily, this movie is old enough and for some reason obscure enough that it hasn't had the commies' pinko claws latching onto it again with their stupid pet theories. They've got some nerds with Zoom call videos making milquetoast reviews and focused more on the box art and the DVD upscale than the fucking movie itself. And of course, Quentin fucking Tarantino, who for some reason is the only guy, other than Orion Films, who knows the good stuff that you didn't know you needed to watch. So when he's not filming feet porn, he knows movies. But all that crap stops today. Buckle up. This ain't your grandma's AI slop, this ain't your dad's commie blather, and this ain't your friend's nerd crap. You deserved better, and I'm here to deliver hard. And another thing. For the characters, there's a bit of a cast, but they keep it simple. There's only really a few characters you need to focus on, and they're well told, and they've got good arcs. And they kind of throw you a surprise, but I'll save that for the end. Turner, the main character played by Robert Redford, a book nerd. He was hired by the CIA to read books and see if the commies are using them to pass information, influence the creative class into making commie propaganda. Yeah, you don't see commies doing that anymore, am I right? Anyways, he finds his whole office was killed one day when he was out on a lunch run. Now he's being hunted and he doesn't know by who. And when he comes back to the CIA to get help, they try to kill him too. So now he's trying to solve the mystery and save his ass. Luckily, he's read everything the CIA has written. He's a super spy in waiting. Kathy, who's Faye Dunaway, gorgeous woman, bored with her life, got a nice milquetoast man and just wants some excitement, and she takes pictures thinking that she wants to be somebody else. She's in the wrong place at the right time. Turner kidnaps her so they can escape, and she finds the allure of a dangerous man seductive. She takes a break from her rich boyfriend in the Hamptons to play spy and help Turner uncover the truth. Jobert, played by Max von Sydow, which you might remember from 84's Dune, is a weird European assassin. Is he a villain? Is he a friend? You don't know, but you don't want to meet him and find out. Turner finds that Jobert was exactly like him once, from a similar betrayal, ended up as an assassin for hire. Is this the ghost of Christmas Future? And you see, like, the characters are all branched off of the main character's motivation and character arc. And that's what I love about good stories and good movies. You get to see it from all different angles. Then you got the trifecta of spies. You have Chris Robertson as Higgis, You got Addison Powell as Atwood and John Houseman as Mr. Wabish. Higgins, straight up director of the CIA kind of thing. He serves his country, he wants to kill Turner, but he does his job, and he eventually learns that something is dirty in the agency. He's trying to kill Turner, but will he help him when he finds out the truth? Atwood, another higher up in the agency, but he's got an agenda. Why does his name keep popping up? Is he a communist? Is he in business for himself? You don't know, and in the end, it's his undoing. The tragic flaw. A lot of tragic arcs on this one. And then you got Wabish. If spies were Star Wars, he'd be Yoda. He's a former OSS agent. He's very jaded to the way that spy stuff works now. He eventually gets killed, if I'm not mistaken. He's sad to see the agency became what it is. So he is the institution, and he's getting left behind. Everybody now has their own agenda, and he doesn't know who to trust anymore. He's just too old for the game. The characters, they're kind of complex, and this is what good stories do. They are each an archetype in the spy genre. The everyman who's caught in a web of deception, the agent who wants to do the right thing but he follows his orders, somebody in the agency with an agenda, a rot, an assassin with a compelling arc, and who's just about the business, it's not personal, a woman who loves adventure. It places these people in various scenes and watch how they interact with each other. So you get to see a double mystery, one for the actual plot mystery, and the other to see what do these characters do when you put them in a room together. And it's awesome. And they all have similar character arcs. It's tragic character arcs, but you wouldn't expect it. In the 70s, they loved to make stuff like that because of what I said about Nixon. They were really nihilistic when it came to films, and it was representative of the pulse of the nation at the time. Like Turner, he's a do-gooder. He isn't an agency man. He just likes books. And when put in this situation, he has to figure out how to survive. He eventually finds out that something is corrupt in the agency, and he does the right thing. He solves the mystery, but when he finally runs into Joubert, he's surprised. Joubert doesn't kill him. It's not my mission today. It was just a job, it's nothing personal. And when Joubert starts asking how he escaped all those times, it's almost like a professional appreciation. Like, it's just a job, it's nothing personal. Turns out, Turner's actually a pretty good spy. So he tells Turner a story about how he became an assassin, and then Turner finds out that his story is the story of how assassins are made. He has to choose to go down that path or reject it. And of course, in this case, he rejects it because he just knows if he left America, he would miss it too much. He loves America too much to become an assassin. How quaint. So he gives the story to the New York Times instead. And when he gets Higgins to meet him and turn himself in, after being warned by Joubert about how his untimely end would happen, Higgins transforms his character from a heroic battle against the government into a tragic arc. How do you know they'll release the story? It's those lines right there. And at the time, this was unheard of. The New York Times, the newspaper of public record, working for the CIA, hiding the truth from the American people? Was Turner's tragic flaw the trust in the system? Is it about to get him killed? You will watch this movie twice before you even realize that. This isn't a happy ending. This is a tragic one. He won a small battle, but the war is over. And that's what I love about these types of movies. Like, and especially from the 70s. You got the character, he can do all the right things, and the system still wins. And back then, it was seen as terrible. But this ages so well in that today, you're not going to find the ne'er-do-well in the system. There are more corruption agents and such now than there ever were back then. The difference is back then, people still trusted them, and they weren't open about this. If this character was in 2025, he would have known the New York Times would just sell him out, and he would have just become an assassin. Hence why the movie that flew because this one crawled, Born Identity. What did he do? He left. He didn't sign back on to the agency. He knew what was up. And that's why I call this the father of Jason Bourne. It's the same movie, really. A man doing his job, not knowing what's going on, caught in a corrupt system. The difference is, Jason would have joined Joubert. And in the second movie, they kind of ruined that by killing his woman the first thing, but whatever. And that goes for everybody. Kathy, kidnapped, eventually, Stockholm Syndrome, falls for Turner. She wants to work with him as a spy. It's more excitement than she's ever had with her goofy boyfriend. And in the end, she wants to leave her cozy life and join him. But he sends her back to her boring life. Like, she'll live, but it's just life. She's not alive. And then Atwood, he thought he had a great plan. He would ensure oil for America, which keeps the people from turning on each other. He killed all the agents in Turner's office, but he was sloppy, so the agency sends his own assassin after him. He dies in a set-up suicide, undone by his own schemes. Then Higgins, he's really the real winner here. He's the system. He has to clean all this up. He's a man who does a job, and when he learns new reveals, he changes his plans, and in the end, Higgins is the system, and the system always wins. Bribe the New York Times to bury the story, kill Atwood to keep the coup under wraps, and just keep things moving. It's bleak. All right, the plot. I'm going to go fast, try to keep up. I love the plot. I'll describe it. I can't do it justice, by the way. It's the way it's executed, and it's the subtleties in there. So if you're worried about spoilers, don't. I'm giving you the map, and the one thing about the map is it's not the terrain. I can't describe the terrain. I can only map it for you. So Turner's a hippie, sort of. Looks like any other office except for the co-workers or CIA agents. He flirts with his chick that he works with. He goes out to get a sandwich for his boss, and while he's gone, Gilbert murders everybody, including the chick at the office he has a shine for, which you probably saw at the beginning of the video. When he finds this, he escapes, he's confused, he's scared, but he does remember his briefings, so he contacts the CIA to brief him and take him in. He's not very trusting, though, so they find an old friend he used to work with to bring him in, somebody he can respect and trust. And then when he meets the guy, the handler ends up murdering the friend, tries to murder Turner, who barely escapes. Also, neck shots look damned deadly, visceral even. So he runs off to try and escape. He eventually kidnaps this random girl and has her take him home, to her home, which buys some time for the audience. The CIA gets to brief the audience, or technically the other directors, with some exposition about Turner and his skills. Gilbert and Atwood have a meeting on a bridge. They plan to finish the job and kill Sam, his buddy that got shot in the neck, his wife, to close up any holes. Turner realizes the wife's probably in danger, and then he gets her out of the house. He goes to visit her, and in the elevator, he runs into Gilbert. He figures it out that he's going to kill him and the girl, so he pays some dudes in the hallway to help him escape with a distraction. Tension, man. Tension. Then he goes home, finds out Faye has a boyfriend, that he promised that she was going to visit him in the Hamptons or something in the morning. So he's like, all right, I'll be here for a day, and then I'm going to get out of here, get back to your life. And then they smash, because of course, why not? And they have all the saxophone music too. It's classic. Anyways, he continues to work on the case in the morning, now with post-nut clarity, and then a postman comes to the door to deliver a package. Turns out he's actually an assassin. I guess Gilbert followed him home, found out where he was, and set the guy in there. So they do a battle. It's not pretty, but he gets the job done. And so Turner and Faye freak out. They realize they have to get out of that place. Turner finds a key on the guy. Wonder what's it for. So their plan, now that they're out on the run, is they got to kidnap Atwood when he's having lunch and share some notes about what's going on. Turner leaves more confused now. Atwood knows there's a plot, and he's using Turner for bait. Then Turner moves on. He manages to track the key down to the hotel that it belongs to, and then he finds the room, and he taps the phone lines and freaks it, so that way he can hear what calls are going on. Gilbert ends up calling a guy, and through some magic freaking skills to track down the number he dialed, etc., he finds out it's this guy Atwood. So he contacts Higgins with the same little phone freaking skills, who gets very quiet when he hears his name. Tries to track him down, but they can't pinpoint a position because he's just so goddamn good. So Turner goes to the train station. He drops Faye off. She wants to stay with him. She wants to start doing some spy stuff. She wants to play the game. But he's like, yeah, no, get out of here. Go enjoy your boring life. I got a job to do. Pump and dump. 100%. Higgins then has his final meeting to set things up with Wabash. He's kind of promised a promotion and a good time with the agency, but he has to kill a bunch of people. He's like, I get it. So now all the plot lines kind of converge. Turner has a gun. He wants to expose everything. Gilbert shows up while Turner's there getting information. Ends up killing Atwood, makes it look like a suicide. Doesn't kill Turner though, which throws him off. It's just a job. He also finds out why everybody in the office was killed early on. It's because they had a plan together to destabilize a Middle Eastern country or Venezuela or something and take the oil. Who'd have thought? It's all for the oil. Gilbert warns Turner that this is the kind of stuff that happens now. He's going to get a couple things are going to happen. They're going to end up taking him out. So he's better off leaving to Europe and working as a mercenary. Turner turns him down because he loves America. Awesome. So then the next and final scene, Higgins meets Turner, and the scene starts to play out exactly like Gilbert said it would. Turner, thinking ahead though, gave all the information about this whole plot to a bunch of journalists at the NYT. Higgins tells him two things. One, the plan was good, but they weren't going to do it anyway, and that's why he kind of went rogue to do it, because they don't need the bad press. They got heat on them right now. If they do this, they have to do this because they keep America from having a civil war if oil prices get too high. And then the second thing, what if we bought the New York Times? What if they don't run the story? What are you going to do then? You're a dead man. And then they kind of leave it hanging there. Said it before and I'll say it again. This movie crawled so the firm could walk, so Jason Bourne could fly. And dude, this film is perfect. Perfect for the genre. It had its formula perfected. A series of reveals, slowly taking you along. A mystery that you have to solve as much as the character himself does. And everything's plausible. They even throw a little bit of sex in there, a little gratuitous nudity to keep you interested. It's a century of cinema, experimentation, moshing of genres, deconstruction, reconstruction, and finally, hard-working, veteran working stiffs given the reins, and they perfected alchemy. They turned lead into gold. It's the perfect set piece espionage thriller. Perfect deliveries, perfect character arcs. The mirror image. Who's a villain? Who's a hero? You don't know, and they don't tell you. The moral themes are gray and just deep enough to carry a simple and visceral story. There was a brief period in history where the world had men forged from war and hardship, trained by the best in the business, and they crafted the best creative work ever known. They took the world of the 20th century, the largest war in the history of the earth, and they crafted a masterpiece of espionage and spies and mysteries that combines the charm of Robert Redford, this style of like 1960s spy stuff, the self-awareness and social critique and nihilism of the Nixon era. It's a time period that isn't mined nearly as much as it deserves, by the way. Not only that, they did it in a way that was accessible to everyone and didn't think they were stupid. It was where we peaked as a society. The themes were ordinary, presented as extraordinary. The story is timeless, yet exactly of its time. What can I say? Enjoy it, because I damn well did. Cheers, fellas.